Hello there. This is the only video you need to watch to gain a complete understanding of the step-by-step process for becoming an NDIS registered provider. So, watch until the end as we will reveal our NDIS Registration Roadmap tool designed to help you navigate the registration process with ease. This tool will provide a personalized roadmap giving you clarity on your eligibility, the costs involved, and the timeline for your registration process. Here is a breakdown of the NDIS registration process, which we will explain in detail in this video. First of all, you will need to understand the NDIS registration process. Congratulations! By watching this video, you are already completing the first step. It's crucial to understand how the process works and what's involved before moving forward. Second, you must determine eligibility, as well as the cost and timeline of your registration journey. Third, you must prepare your NDIS documentation, such as policies and procedures, forms, and other evidence. Fourth, you will need to submit your NDIS application on the NDIS Commission portal. Fifth, engage an NDIS auditor and book your audit. Sixth, prepare for your formal NDIS audit. Seventh, undergo your NDIS audit. Eighth, await your registration outcome. And finally, you will receive your certificate of registration. Let's dive into each step in detail, shall we? To begin the NDIS registration process, it's important to determine whether the services you currently deliver or intend to deliver are classified as NDIS supports, and if you're eligible to apply for them. Here's what you need to know. There are 36 registration groups or categories of goods and services, also called NDIS supports, that you may be eligible to apply for. NDIS supports include the services, items, and equipment that can be funded by the NDIS. This may include assistance with daily activities, community participation, therapeutic supports, household tasks, living arrangements, and other NDIS supports. In terms of eligibility, certain registration groups or NDIS supports have specific requirements, such as qualifications, experience, or criteria that must be met in order to apply. If you want to determine whether you meet the requirements, meaning if you are eligible to apply for the NDIS supports you intend to deliver, you will need to conduct an eligibility assessment. The good news is we can assist you with this process. Simply click on the link below to access our NDIS Registration Roadmap tool and receive your eligibility assessment result in minutes. Regarding the cost and timeline for your NDIS registration process, it's important to understand that both will vary depending on the registration groups or NDIS supports you apply for. Registration costs include both NDIS documentation preparation and audit fees, which vary based on the level of risk associated with your chosen NDIS supports. Low-risk supports generally incur lower costs due to fewer compliance requirements and one-stage audit. Whereas higher-risk supports and specialized supports involve more extensive compliance documentation and two-stage audits, resulting in higher fees. In terms of the duration of the process for low-risk services, registration typically takes around 6 to 8 months to complete. For high-risk supports, the process may extend to 12 to 14 months, reflecting the additional compliance requirements and complexity involved. If you want a clear roadmap to understanding your eligibility and an estimated process's costs and timeline, we recommend using our Personalised Roadmap tool. This tool is designed to assess your eligibility for registration based on your intended services, provide a tailored estimate of the costs associated with your specific registration groups, and finally outline the timeline for completing your registration process, considering the level of risk for your supports. Stay tuned until the end of this video, as we will share more details about this incredible tool. This is a crucial step in your registration process. You need to gather and prepare your NDIS documentation, which includes policies and procedures, forms and registers, and other critical evidence before undergoing your audit. This documentation is essential to demonstrate your compliance with the current NDIS standards and rules, and it must be tailored to the specific NDIS supports that you are applying for. Now, the next step is to submit your NDIS online application through the NDIS Commission Applications portal. For this application, you need to provide detailed information about your organization, including your contact details, corporate structure, outlets or places of operation, and details of your key personnel. In addition, you must include the information identified in Step 2, such as the NDIS supports or registration groups you are eligible for, which should be clearly outlined in the NDIS Registration Roadmap generated by our tool, which you will find in the link below. These selections determine which NDIS practice standards will apply to your organization. As part of the process, you will also complete a self-assessment against these applicable NDIS practice standards, reflecting the NDIS supports your organization delivers or plans to deliver to participants. At the end of this process, you will receive your initial scope of audit from the NDIS Commission. This document outlines the registration requirements specific to your organization, whether you require a verification or certification audit, and the applicable NDIS practice standards. The next step in your registration process is to engage an NDIS-approved quality auditor to undertake your audit process. The NDIS auditor will use the initial scope of audit document you received in the previous step to provide a tailored quote for their services. You can request quotes from multiple NDIS auditors to compare options and discuss your specific needs and circumstances with them to ensure you receive the best value and support for your audit. After engaging your chosen NDIS auditor and booking your audit, the next step is to prepare thoroughly for your upcoming audit. Preparation involves gathering all the necessary evidence that your auditor will require to verify your compliance with the applicable NDIS practice standards. This may include your NDIS policies and procedures, relevant forms, staff qualifications and clearances, insurance certificates, and any other documentation or evidence specific to the services you provide. Once you have gathered all evidence, you must share these documents with your NDIS auditor in advance, at least 7 days prior to your audit date. Your NDIS auditor may request that you upload your documents and evidence to their shared drive, or provide a link to the location where you've securely stored your documents in your own cloud system. Being well-prepared and proactive will ensure a smoother audit process and demonstrate your commitment to meeting NDIS compliance requirements. Now that you have prepared your NDIS documentation in the previous step, you are ready to undergo your NDIS audit. This is a critical stage where your organization's compliance with the NDIS practice standards will be assessed by your NDIS auditor. The initial scope of audit document will tell you exactly the type of audit that you will undergo, either a verification audit or a certification audit, depending on the risk level of the NDIS supports you applied for. It's important to note that the audit process differs based on the type of audit. For verification audits, the process is conducted entirely remotely. This type of audit involves a desktop review of your documentary evidence. For certification audits, which apply to higher-risk services, the process is more detailed and involves a thorough 2-stage review. Stage 1 audit is a desktop review. This is conducted remotely and focuses on reviewing your documentary evidence to ensure your policies, procedures, and other documentation align with the NDIS practice standards. Stage 2 audit is an on-site audit. This involves an in-person visit by the auditor to assess how your organization implements the documented processes in practice. The auditor will review evidence, observe operations, and may interview staff and participants to confirm compliance. Once the audit is complete, your NDIS auditor will provide you with the audit outcome, which comes in the form of an audit report. This report includes a rating for how well your organization complies with each relevant NDIS practice standards and quality indicators, as well as detailed findings highlighting any non-conformities or areas requiring improvement. If your organization receives a major non-conformity or 0 rating in any area, you will have 3 months to address the issue and submit a corrective action plan. Your registration process will not progress until the non-conformity is resolved and your organization successfully completes the quality audit. Once your audit is finalized, your NDIS auditor will submit the final audit report to the NDIS Commission for their final review, which is the next stage of the process. After receiving the audit report, the NDIS Commission will conduct an assessment of your organization and key personnel to determine your suitability to deliver the NDIS supports that you applied for. The NDIS Commission will also consider the outcome of your NDIS audit and the information provided in your application to conduct a suitability assessment. When assessing the suitability of your organization, the NDIS Commission will consider several factors, including whether your organization or its key personnel have had a banning order in place, any past convictions, instances of being insolvent under administration, and other relevant criteria that may impact the organization's suitability for registration. The duration of this final assessment depends on the NDIS Commission and the registration pathway. Typically, for the verification pathway, the process is faster and usually takes just a few months to complete. If you pass the suitability assessment, it means you have successfully met all the requirements and you will be granted your NDIS registration. This is the final step of your NDIS registration process. If you have reached this stage, it means you have successfully completed your journey and are now an officially registered NDIS provider. Congratulations! You will receive your Certificate of Registration, which is a formal document issued by the NDIS Commission that confirms your status as a registered NDIS provider. This document includes your registration ID, the NDIS support or registration groups you have been approved for, the conditions of your registration such as compliance with the NDIS practice standards, and your registration period, including the start and end dates. This certificate is not just a milestone, it's also a requirement. You will need it to provide proof of your registration to NDIS participants, support coordinators, and plan managers before delivering your services. Finally, after you receive your Certificate of Registration, you will also be authorized to display the official NDIS logos on your website, social media channels, marketing materials, and business documents. Displaying the NDIS logos reinforces your status as a trusted and registered provider, builds credibility with NDIS participants, and helps promote your services as compliant with the NDIS quality and safety standards. Here are the key takeaways to keep in mind. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching, as we will share the next key step at the end of this video to guide you through your own NDIS registration journey. To recap, here are all the steps of the NDIS registration process again. You have already completed the first step of the process. Well done. Now, you are one step closer to achieving your NDIS registration. Now that you understand all the steps involved in the NDIS registration process, the next step is to determine your eligibility for the services you intend to apply for, along with the costs and timeline associated with your registration process. To do this quickly and efficiently, you should use our NDIS Registration Roadmap tool available on our website. After completing this simple form, you will receive a personalized roadmap tailored to your specific needs, helping you navigate the NDIS registration process with confidence and clarity. This roadmap will provide you with a clear understanding of your eligibility for the services you intend to apply for, the costs associated with your registration process, the estimated timeline to complete your registration. Additionally, with this tool, you will receive a detailed action plan and you will be fully prepared to take the next steps in your NDIS registration journey. Are you ready to proceed with the Step 2 of your registration process? Head to our website now and complete the second step of your registration journey by using our NDIS Registration Roadmap tool. In just minutes, you will receive a personalized roadmap to your inbox, giving you a clear pathway to continue your NDIS registration process. So, what are you waiting for? Thank you for watching this video. We hope it was helpful.